Hey everyone, Crystal Grace here and welcome back to this pick a card reading, which is all about what are people saying when you're not around. We have 3 piles to choose from. Pile number 1, dice. Pile number 2, angel numbers. And pile number 3, globe. Quick disclaimer while you're connecting with one of the piles. If this reading begins to trigger you in any way, shape or form, please opt off the reading and trust that I did not sit here and conjure negative messages or energies to ruin your day, evening or night. So with that said, let's get into it. Let's find out, what are people saying when you are not around? Pile 1, welcome to your reading. So roll the dice. Dice chance card number 19 equates to 1 plus 9 is 10. 10 is 1 plus 0 is 0. New beginnings, opportunities. A birthing of a new era. So I just did have an interruption, and so I don't know, I have to take that into consideration. Maybe like what are people saying when you're not around is maybe like the things that you're saying to them when you're not around, they're sharing that knowledge for some of you. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. But maybe with this like dice and taking a chance, like when we think of the concept rolling the dice, we're not really sure what the outcome's going to be. So I kind of feel like there is this other download coming through, but for some of you, you could be taking at some time, sometimes you could be rolling the dice a little bit with risky conversations with people because what they're saying when you're not around is the stuff that you're saying. So just be mindful of that, because people like to gossip, obviously. And I think for you guys, you know, I look at the color pink and this card in itself, we have a mirror. So you guys have a really beautiful reflection. I think you photograph really well as well here. But I think you're very aesthetically beautiful and very attractive. And I think when you're not around, people may like to, you know, what's the word? They may like to exaggerate like how much like they're connected with you and how much they are like friends with you. And I think they naturally want to be as close as they may present themselves or portray themselves to others, because why else would they do that? But I definitely feel like for this pile, you're quite popular. I think when people see you, they want to know who you are, like what your story is. So I think when you're not around, like what are people saying? They're probably trying to talk in a way about you like that would deem very, very close to you, like that they're friends with you, that sort of vibe. I also feel like with this dice and a chance, what people are saying about you when you're not around is about actually rolling the dice, shooting their shot with you, wanting to take a chance with you. And for others of you, what people are saying when you're not around is they're talking about those times that they did shoot their shot with you or did try and take a chance with you. But I feel like, you know, when I think about a revision mirror in the car, we're always looking behind, like you're looking behind you, right? So it kind of gives me the impression like these are people from your past. These are people you've walked away from that could be coming up in this reading. So let's just bear that in mind. So if that sort of correlates with you, awesome. Let's get into it. Let's find out what people are saying when you are not around. Pile number 1. And yeah, kind of coming back to that energy of new beginnings, with the number 1, it could even just be like, these like what people are talking about when you're not around. These people are quite new to you that are talking about you, I guess, is the energy we could be picking up on. All right, show us. We're not going to do reversals. We want to see what are people saying about pile 1 when they are not around. Oof. Set somebody's house on fire. Jesus Christ, we've got lovers. So there's that loving energy, right? That romantic energy coming through. King of Cups. So it's confirming. We're going to take this. 7 of Pentacles and the 5 of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, we've got the Fool. New beginning. So yeah, there's definitely energy here about people talking about wanting a new beginning with you or have had a new beginning with you. Maybe taking that risk to come towards you, right? But with the Tower here, I can't, like a lot's coming through all at once. So the vibe I get is like, what people are talking about when you're not around. It's not so much looking at these cards as like you per se. It's more about what they're talking about is how they've taken action towards you. For some of you, it's like, you know, what they're talking about is how they took action towards you romantically, like there was some kind of romantic situation did unfold between the two of you. You were both making the effort, putting the effort in. Though with the 5 of Pentacles and the Tower here coming out, it just literally says what they're saying is things did not work out. Like whether or not they're talking about them burning the house down with you in it or you burnt the house down with them in it. So 5 of Pentacles can talk about infidelity, financial hardship. So, you know, whether or not they financially abused you, maybe the shoe is on the other foot here. Maybe some of you financially abuse them, but take that as it resonates. I don't believe I would attract that kind of audience to my channel. So I do believe it's the other way. But yeah, it could be just a matter of you ghosting them, right? When we think about the Four in a romantic sense, it's very fresh new energy. It's not talking about long-term commitment or a long-term relationship that has eventuated or unfolded. So I feel like when you're not around, people are talking about an opportunity that they've missed with you because of the Tower and the 5 of Pentacles here. They could also be talking about how they didn't put the effort in order to resolve any conflict or maybe insecurities that you had, and they're the reason why things did not work out between you two romantically. So there is a strong romantic energy around this pile in the sense of what people are talking about when you're not around. So it could even be on the flip side with friends talking about many romantic opportunities you've had, but have resulted in like Tower moments. You know, you could have attracted like a King of Cups or many King of Cups people in a very low vibrational energy. So these people would tend to be very emotionally manipulative, utilize emotional blackmail, they gaslight. They sort of like reel you in and then spit you out, right? So someone could be talking about that when you're not around, the kind of lovers that you do attract. And with the Tower and the 5 of Pentacles here, and even the Fool can indicate that they're not the best kind of characters to be attracting here as well. People could also be talking about how you invest your time and energy in like low vibrational suitors. So take that as it resonates. It could be the fact that you give everyone the benefit of the doubt is what people are saying. Like you may wear rose-colored glasses in the initial stages of meeting somebody. So naturally, as time unfolds, you realize these people bring chaos and erratic changes into your world and obviously set your life on fire here with this very dramatic Tower card, right? It's weird in like this character here looks kind of like a ghost. They don't technically have legs. So I definitely feel like what people could be saying about you when you're not around is they feel very haunted by the things that they've done to you. I think you could have a lot of people who talk about maybe the behavior or the situations they inflicted on you, like they brought trauma to your front door. And I can't help to think that this is not aimed specifically at lovers, right? I definitely feel like when you're not around, it's like your ex-lovers or people who you could be pursuing at this time, that they're the ones who are sort of talking about this romantic aspect of your life. For others of you, if you are if you are like sort of getting to know somebody in the initial stages, what they could be talking about when you're not around is like the tower moments you've endured, right? The hardships that you've endured in your romantic life, the kind of people you've attracted, the fact that you are the kind of person who will, means well, wears your heart on the sleeve, will invest time and energy, even money into your romantic connections. Because when you love, you love. I feel like you're not like what they're saying is you're not a half-hearted lover. You're all in or you're all out sort of vibe is what I'm picking up here. So that is what I have for you guys. Let me know if that resonated, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Pile number 2, welcome to your reading. So we have angel numbers, confirmation. We do have a receipt here, the spot, Serendipity Boulevard. I think there is a cafe in New York called Serendipity or Serendipitous. It's a very cool cafe. I've been there. Maybe some of you guys have been there. We have 1111. We've got 1212. So these numbers could be numbers that you, or angel numbers specifically, that you guys are resonating with at this time. We also have the card number 14, which it equates to number 5. So I feel like, when I think about angel numbers, it's quite positive. So I feel like maybe angel numbers come into play in your world when changes are upon you, when changes are coming. And it's to maybe remind you to remain positive in your energy when you're like dealing with anything chaotic or dealing with any conflict. So it's sort of like, for me, if I'm ever feeling a little bit in doubt, I tend to see in proper doubt, I always see a rainbow, and it's really weird. So, and when I'm feeling really low, I'm really blessed. I get to see a double rainbow. And it might not be the whole lot of the rainbow, but I have many of times. So that's sort of the way the universe, I feel like, connects with me, is in rainbows. Some of you may correlate with that. But yeah, like, I don't know. I think what people are saying about you when you're not around is that you are very optimistic and very positive. You're a very positive person. You're a very spiritual person. You could love breakfast food, like breakfast might be your favorite meal of the day. You could also, like, it's only got one guess, table 1 here. So it kind of gives me the impression what maybe a lot of you like to spend time on your own. You're not afraid to go to the movies on your own, dine on your own, like do stuff on your own. People could actually be talking about that when you're not around. You're very independent, very self-sufficient. And you're always spot on, is what I'm hearing. You could be a massive advocate for serendipitous, behaviors. Like, if you're not a person who tries to forces things, like you allow the universe to step in and make the magic happen for you, which is very nice. I was going to say conservative energy, but very professional, sort of mature energy, as opposed to being fixated on things that aren't worthy of being fixated on, or something like that. So let's get into it. Let's find out what people are saying about you when you're not around. We've got the Wheel of Fortune. Nice. And that's all about destiny, right? So it's definitely confirming that initial energy about you just going with the flow of the universe. All right. Grab some more and then we'll jump into it. You have very good fortune, is what I think a lot of people are talking about when you're not around. The Devil. 10 of Pentacles, Page of Cups, the Magician. Yeah. 3 of Wands is the overall energy. And a Black Cat. Alrighty, so 3 of Wands, right, is the overall energy as to what people are saying when you're not around. So it's definitely giving me the impression, like, complementing this whole, like, destiny energy. It feels like what people are talking about is, like, your forward thinking, like how you just sort of move with the momentum of life. You're not a person who like clutches onto things that aren't serving you. You're not a person who clutches onto ideas, people, situations that aren't sort of clutching back onto you. Or even still, I think some people could even be talking about when you're not around, like you don't like to be smothered here, like you need your sense of freedom, you need a sense of purpose in life. You're also very goal orientated and need to be like you're a person who's always looking for towards the future, not the past. The Wheel of Fortune sort of tells me what people are saying about you when you're not around is that you're a person who's very lucky. You have good luck. Anything that you want, it happens. Anything you manifest with the Magician showing up here, it happens. The Page of Cups can talk about creativity. So people could be talking about some level of creativity that you have and how lucky you are to have got that creativity off the ground to wherever it may be. Some of you could be making money from that creativity and people are talking about that. I think people find you quite quirky and very fun, very vibrant energy here. And I think you give people hope. I think what people talk about when you're not around is that you give them hope in knowing that there is good luck. There are positive blessings. There are miracles that come towards you if you welcome them, if you allow them. I think you've educated a lot of people around you that, yeah, shit happens, but if you sit in that state of low vibrational energy, you're blocking all your blessings coming in if you're always focusing on what happened as opposed to what can happen if we move on from, things that have never really served our highest good. The Devil card in regards to what people could be talking about when you're not around is they could have this obsession with you, like they're very attracted to you, they're very obsessed by you. Maybe they're obsessed with your success, right? Maybe they're obsessed with your way of life, way of living as well here. The Devil can also talk about addictions and whatnot. So if any of you have had addictions in the past, maybe you've moved forward with them, or maybe you're the kind of people who do have addictions, but your addictions have never hindered your goals, never hindered your future. So what do they call that? It's sort of a high functional sort of addict. Some of you could be a high functional addict. So it could be a shopping addict, a food addict, an alcoholic. Do you know what I mean? So that won't resonate with everyone, but some people around you when you're not around could be talking about that you still have things that you are dealing with that you could be obsessed with or codependent on, but that's never gotten in the way of your success with the Ten of Pentacles. Because they have the Wheel of Fortune on one side and the Ten of Pentacles on the other of the Devil. It definitely tells me that you do deal with demons or some kind of darkness here, but it's never gotten in the way of you being the great person that you are, or it's never gotten in the way of your success, because Ten of Pentacles is financial success. And the Devil definitely heavily talks about addiction and, a low vibrational energy, right? So I feel like when you're not around, people are talking about how whether or not you've pulled yourself out of a dark time or you live in a dark time, but you're still very successful. And it's not to say, I don't think anyone who's addicted to anything, if you're a high functional addict, I personally think there's a lot of them around, right? I just kind of think it's not a bad thing. If you're dealing with your life the way you're dealing with it, but still being very successful, I think you've mastered, the most challenging part in life. I won't digress because I want to kind of keep each pile around the same time frame. So, yeah, and I think, the Ten of Pentacles is definitely indicating some level of success people are talking about. Some of you own a home. Maybe people never thought you would own your own home. It could even just be renting your own home. This is a beautiful ancient home. It looks like it's made out of stone or very solid brick. And it seems to have glass, stained windows, which, is a very beautiful home. People could also be talking about your heritage, where you come from, your family tree. They could also be talking about when you're not around, your finances, right? And maybe if any of you have received some kind of inheritance, maybe that's what people could be talking about is, you know, you have inherited money. If you have, they are talking about that. Maybe people are speculating that you have inherited money when you're not around, when you haven't, right? Especially if this soul addict thing is sort of accurate. You know, you feel like, you know, yeah, you do have some form of codependency on some kind of substance or food, shopping, whatever. People could be talking about when you're not around, like you're able to manage that quite well because you do have funds from like a trust or something like that. And if it's not that, let it go, right? But the Ten of Pentacles is also a strong family card as well. So when you're not around, people could be talking about like you having a toxic family here with the Devil card next to the Ten of Pentacles, like you've come from a toxic family. But it has made you a very strong, independent, financially stable person. So kind of coming back to that angel numbers card, you're not afraid to go anywhere on your own. You've probably traveled the world alone. You're happy to dine alone. And that could be on the basis that were forced to grow up a lot quicker than what you should have. So these people talking about you when you're not around, they seem to know you quite well, pile two. Like they're probably friends. And then we have this Page of Cups. We definitely did sort of like talk about that. But he's got the balloon. Is that a fish? Yeah, there's the fish in there and there's an octopus in the other one. I don't know, you know, this guy's in a wheelchair too, right? So maybe what people are saying when you're not around is like, you're not afraid to see the beauty in life when like you're in like sticky situations. And I think we sort of touched on this earlier in the piece. Like you're not afraid to, you don't allow your like misfortunes to affect your state of mind. Like your whole world could be like crumbling down, yet you still manage to show up and be there for everyone around you. You still manage to show up and see the beauty in everything, as opposed to just turning into like a bitter, sour person. And the Devil card definitely indicates you've gone through something quite dark, right? So I feel like with the Page of Cups series, you haven't lost your innocence. People, what they're saying about you when you're not around is like, you haven't turned into this bitter like sod. You are actually still very like charming and very innocent and very sweet when you do have enough reason with the experiences you've been dealt to turn into like not a nice person, right? And then we have the Magician here. So some of you could work with magic, and people are definitely talking about that when you're not around. You could be a witch, you could be a warlock, right? People could be definitely talking about how you play with universal law, right? So it could be burning candle magic, it could be moon magic, fairy magic, that sort of jazz is what I'm kind of really connecting with. But, you know, I think for majority of you, it would be like everything you set your mind to, everything you try and manifest for you for the highest good, you achieve it. Like it actually comes into fruition for you. And that's what I mean in the sense of like everyone around you gets to experience you, gets to meet you, Pile 2. You teach them about having, I don't know, having a better outlook on life and not allowing like trauma and tragedy to like be their story forever. And I think that's a beautiful energy to be in. I think that's a beautiful person to present to the world as. So yeah, keep doing that. And I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Pile 3, welcome to your reading. So we have Globe, Possibility, Globetrotter. We do have the card number 31, which equates to number 4. I don't know, maybe you've really been focused on manifesting stability and security within your life, whether or not it's financial or like it's just feeling more stable and secure within yourself, right? Either way, you've been setting the foundations, you've been laying the foundations, I should say, in order to accomplish like whether or not it's travel, you know, globe, a globe with the continents on a map, I should say, would indicate that. But yeah, I feel like there's a very sturdy, strong energy with this pile. I think you are trying to conquer the world, but conquer your own world. Like, not conquer the world like, what's that? Austin Powers, you know, the dude in that movie who wants to like take over the world for the worse. I just kind of feel like you want to feel like, you know, Two of Wands, I see my third eye. Like, you want to be in a position, or you want to put yourself in the position of having the whole world in your hands. So being able to do what you want, go where you want, like, talk to whoever you want. And that really would put you in a very stable and secure energy. But there's also this practicality energy, or practical energy, like it's within reason. So it's not like you want to be Captain Planet or captain of the whole planet. I don't know. I feel like I'm babbling a little bit, but I think you want more possibilities or opportunities in your life. And I feel like you are doing the work, or putting the work in order to be able to bring more opportunities towards you, to have more possibilities or more doors open for you. And it could even, for some of you, just be for your children, is what I'm hearing. So let's jump into it. Let's find out what people are saying when you are not around. For pile number 3, we're not doing reversals for this reading. Page of Pentacles, 4 of Pentacles, yeah, Ace of Wands, got some smokers in the house, we've got the Hangman, and 10 of Wands, we've got the Hermit on the bottom of the deck. All right, so this kind of aligns with the energy I'm picking up, because when I think about the Hermit, they pull their energy back from the world and they go within and they really review their decisions or their choices that they've made in order to make better decisions, make better make better choices in the future, right? Because you go into a state of self-development, self-healing, because you sit in a state of introspection in the Hermit mode. So I would have to say what people are sort of talking about when you're not around is that you're not around. Like, you've gone MIA, you're really focusing on your goals, your dreams at this time. And with the Page of Pentacles, the 4 of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, the Hangman, and even the 10 of Wands, all of these cards sort of combine, sort of reiterate that message, like you're pulling your energy back to bring more opportunities into your life. So it could be the fact that you're changing like your lifestyle choices. You're not going out and socializing and partying, spending all this money that maybe you don't have, or maybe that you do have, and actually starting to invest your time and energy into opportunities that are going to be more fruitful for you at the end of the day, right? So if you want more money, it's about, okay, well, how, pile 3 isn't going to be out and about anymore because they're investing their time and energy in investments, or like trying to save for a house, or save for a car, save for a holiday, go traveling around the world for 2 years, whatever it may be. So that's sort of the vibe I'm picking up here. You are very in your spiritual era at this time, is what people could be talking about, is like you are very recluse and your energy is very withdrawn, right? So if you are out and about having a great old time, this might not be the pile for you. So Page of Pentacles is a card that can talk about, big opportunities that come in small sizes. So what people could be talking about when you're not around is like you can take a really small idea and turn it into a really successful endeavor, right? You could be very good with money, is what people could be talking about when you're not around. Like, you know how to turn $10 into $1,000. So you could be good at gambling or something like that. Your employment could be something that people are talking about when you're not around, what you do for work, how you make money, okay? Because the Page of Pentacles is definitely the employment card. And it's also giving me the impression what people could be talking about when you're not around. You've had a lot of positive employment opportunities as well here. So you could have had a lot of different unique jobs from one another, worked in different industries, so to speak. 4 of Pentacles, right? When I look at the imagery here, is like there is some very dense roots here. So it kind of gives me the impression like it doesn't matter how many times like you get cut down by people, you know who you are, you know where you've come from. Another energy coming through with this card as well is it won't ever matter how successful you ever get, you won't change as a person. And I think a lot of people talk about when you're not around pile 2 is that you're very stable and secure within yourself. You know what you bring to the table. You're actually genuinely grounded, very, maybe an earth sign here. You could have come from like rags to riches, or you could have just come from riches, but you may present yourself like you come from rags. So if that makes sense, like you don't flaunt everything you've achieved. I think you are very humble, or at least this is what people are saying when you're not around. Like you don't sit in a state of boasting about everything you've acquired or achieved in this life. You keep everything quite like close to your heart. And I think when you're not around, what people are talking about is like you kind of have to, it's like trying to get blood out of stone when you're talking to pile 3. If you want to learn more about them, you've kind of really got to drag it out of them, because you don't sit in a state of gloating is what I think they're talking about. It's hard to get to know you. For some of you is what people are saying when you're not around. There is a lot below the surface. So the other thing, I'm being really drawn to like the stump, and it's cut off, right? So people could be talking about your cut-off game as well. And maybe what they're saying when you're not around is like you can cut people off because you have so much support and around you. You've already got a lot of friends, you've already got a lot of family, so it doesn't really matter if people new people enter your world. If they don't show up correctly, you just sort of like cut them off is what I'm hearing. The Ace of Wands, obviously we can look at this as like a creative energy, but it's a very strong sexual energy card, right? So I feel like, you know, we have a lighter being thrown into the air. I don't know. I kind of feel like when you're not around, people are talking about the sexual, like magnetic energy that they may feel towards you. Like people could be talking about sexual experiences they've had with you when you're not around as well. They could be talking about what it would be like to have sex with you. So just be mindful of that, because that can, go either way. Can be positive, but it can also be negative talk. But, you know, the hand has not got the lighter. So it kind of tells me like what people are saying when you're not around, like you're hard to attain, like you're not easy to catch. Sort of on the back end of that 4 of Pentacles energy, you're not easy to break the ice with maybe. Like it's hard to ignite the flame with you when you seem to be hard to catch. I think what people say when you're not around, you're not an easy pursuit. So like I don't think you're in your flirting era, and I think that's because you're very much focusing on trying to better your future. So maybe you've pulled your energy back from love, maybe you've pulled your energy back from sexual encounters as well here. At least this is what people could be saying when you're not around. But there is this strong sexual alluring energy about you. People feel very sexually drawn to you. They find you very sexually attractive. At least this is what they're saying. Now the Hanged One, right? It's a very peculiar image here. Like she's in the water and she's under like I thought she had half an arm, but she doesn't. It's the way the arms are. Like for some of you, it could have something to do with bondage. It's a very sexual sort of vibe. She doesn't look like she's in any pain there, or they don't look like they're in any pain. So the Hangman talks about, somebody feeling quite trapped, but maybe they don't realize it. And then other aspects of the Hangman would talk about like somebody's perspective being very upside down. Their view of the world is very unique and very different to everyone else's. And because the Hermit card is your overall energy, I feel like it makes more sense to connect with the card that way. But bondage is definitely here. Like just like all sorts of tied up there, right? There's no getting out of that. Sex swing is also coming through. So maybe when you're not around, somebody is talking something very sexual about you, maybe what they want to do with you behind closed door, maybe put you in a sex swing. I also feel with the Hanged One, what they're saying when you're not around is how unique your perspective is on life. It's very different. It's not the same as everyone else. You are very unique. You're kind of like a unicorn here is what I feel. And what they could be saying when you're not around is you have been in situations in the past where you felt very trapped and confined, and you've had to push yourself out of those, or like push yourself out of your comfort zone to break away or break free from situations or relationships that were not good for you or something like that. Because the Ten of Wands talks about somebody being very burdened with responsibilities that aren't really theirs. They feel obligated to be responsible for everyone around them except for themselves. So somebody is definitely aware that you are entering a new era of yourself, like of your life. You are releasing things that no longer serve you as well. And yeah, I think that Ten of Wands sort of gives me the impression what they're talking about is that you're like, for some of you, complemented with the Hanged One, it could even just be like they're aware when like you're dealing with something not great because your energy shifts, right? You might begin to be showing signs of burnout, stress, like when life starts tying you up or restricting you. I think with the Ten of Wands, it's sort of like what they're saying when you're not around is I can tell when things aren't working out for pile 3 because their energy shifts. I can tell when people are starting, like life's starting to restrict pile 3 because they're showing signs of stress. They're showing signs of struggle. For others of you, the Ten of Wands could literally, it could even be talking about how if you are sort of shining away from love and relationships, it could even be suggesting what somebody is saying when you're not around is like the idea of being in love or being in a relationship just feels like a heavy burden for you. Like you're completely not interested in being in a full-blown relationship. So some of you could be like entertaining somebody, like getting to know somebody, and this person could be saying when you're not around, like, or confiding in others, like, you know, they could have people saying, well, is things moving forward? And they're saying, oh, I don't think so. And I kind of feel like this Hangman is past energy. There is something that you were trapped in that was probably very low vibrational, that probably hindered your perspective on life. And I think with this Ten of Wands, what they're saying is like, you know, where you're at this point in time is like a full-blown relationship or a commitment is not, it only makes you feel very overwhelmed or like unsettled. Because either you're still moving on from that past situation, or the fact that you have your mindset on bigger, better possibilities, which has to do with money because the Page of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles come out. You seem to have a strong focus on finances, bettering your employment status possibly here. And that is what they could be talking about when you are not around. So that is what I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know down in the comments and I'll see you next time. Bye.